You are standing at a threshold right now. Not because you chose to be here, not because you planned this moment or scheduled it into your week. You are standing at a threshold because something in the architecture of your reality has been quietly, precisely, undeniably shifting. And the fact that you found this transmission in this moment, on this particular day, is not coincidence. It is confirmation. There is a word for what is happening to you. Physicists use it to describe the moment when a quantum system stops existing in multiple possible states and snaps into one definite reality. They call it collapse. But that word is misleading, because what actually happens in that moment is not a falling apart. It is a crystallization. It is the moment when the fog of possibility becomes the sharp edge of what is real. It is the moment when the gate opens, and the gate is open right now. You may have noticed things changing around you. Small things at first, the way certain situations that used to feel urgent now feel distant, like you're watching them through glass. The way certain people in your life seem to be drifting, not because of conflict or drama, but because something in the gravitational field between you has quietly shifted. The way you find yourself pausing in the middle of ordinary moments, standing in a kitchen, sitting in traffic, lying awake at 3 in the morning, with this strange electric sense that something is different. Not wrong, different, like the air pressure has changed, like the frequency of your own existence has moved into a new range. That is not anxiety. That is not confusion. That is the sensation of a quantum frequency shift in progress. And here is what you need to understand before we go any further into this transmission. What is happening to you right now is not random. It is not a symptom of something broken. It is not a phase you need to push through or a problem you need to solve. What is happening to you right now is the most precise, most structured, most physics-grounded process in the entire universe. It is a state transition. It is a phase change. It is the moment when one version of reality ends and another begins. Not gradually, not incrementally, but all at once, at the threshold, at the gate. You are not losing your mind. You are changing your frequency. And when your frequency changes, reality bends to match it. That is not a metaphor. That is not wishful thinking. That is the actual mechanism by which the universe operates. And we are going to walk through exactly how it works. From the quantum level up through the level of lived human experience, so that by the end of this transmission, you will not just feel that something is shifting. You will understand precisely what is shifting, why it is shifting, and what is waiting for you on the other side of the gate. One version of you entered this transmission. A different version will emerge. Let's begin at the beginning. Let's begin at the gate. There is a concept in quantum physics that most people encounter once, in a simplified form, and then file away as a curiosity about subatomic particles that has nothing to do with their actual life. The concept is superposition. You've probably heard of it. Schrödinger's cat, the thought experiment about a cat in a box that is simultaneously alive and dead until you open the box and observe it. Most people hear that and think, interesting, strange, irrelevant to anything I actually care about. But here is what they miss. Here is what the simplified version never tells you. Superposition is not a quirk of subatomic particles. Superposition is the fundamental nature of unobserved reality. Before a quantum system is measured, before it interacts with something that forces it to declare itself, it exists in a genuine, mathematically real state of multiple simultaneous possibilities. Not metaphorically multiple, not conceptually multiple, actually, physically, measurably multiple. The particle is in multiple places at once. The electron has multiple spin states at once. The system holds all its possible futures simultaneously, in a real superposition of states, until the moment of measurement collapses it into one. Now hold that image. Hold the image of a system that contains all its possible futures at once, existing in a kind of shimmering, unresolved multiplicity. And then consider this. What if that is exactly the state you have been living in? What if the disorientation you've been feeling, the sense of being between things, the sense that your old life no longer quite fits, but your new life hasn't fully materialized yet? What if that is not a problem? What if that is superposition? What if you have been, for weeks or months or years, holding multiple possible versions of your own reality simultaneously, in a genuine quantum superposition of who you were and who you are becoming, and what is happening right now, in this moment, in this transmission, is the beginning of the collapse, not a falling apart, a crystallization, a snapping into definition, a frequency locking on to its true state. The gate is not the problem. The gate is the solution. The gate is the moment when superposition ends and reality begins. Let's talk about frequency. Because this is the precise mechanism, the actual physics of what is happening to you. Every physical system has a natural frequency. A guitar string, when plucked, vibrates at a specific frequency determined by its length, tension, and mass. A crystal wine glass vibrates at a specific frequency determined by its molecular structure. A bridge vibrates at a specific frequency determined by its engineering. And here is the critical thing. When an external vibration matches the natural frequency of a system, something extraordinary happens. The system doesn't just vibrate, it resonates. The amplitude of the vibration grows. The system begins to respond in a way that seems disproportionate to the input, a small force producing a large response, because the frequency has matched. This is called resonance. And resonance is not just a physical phenomenon. It is the operating principle of reality itself. Your consciousness has a frequency, not in a vague, metaphorical sense, in a precise, structural sense. The patterns of your thoughts, the habitual states of your nervous system, the emotional frequencies you return to most often, the beliefs that form the invisible architecture of your experience. All of these together constitute a kind of vibrational signature, a frequency. And that frequency is what determines which aspects of reality you interact with, which possibilities collapse into your experience, which gates appear before you, and which remain invisible. When your frequency is low, when you are operating primarily from fear, from scarcity, from the belief that reality is fixed and you are subject to it, the world around you reflects that frequency back. Not because the universe is punishing you, because resonance, because like frequencies amplify each other, because the gate that opens at a low frequency leads to a low frequency reality, and that reality confirms the frequency that produced it, and the loop closes. But here is what is extraordinary. Here is what changes everything. Frequencies can shift, not gradually, not through years of slow, incremental improvement. Frequencies shift in phase transitions, sudden, complete, irreversible changes of state that happen at specific thresholds. Water doesn't gradually become ice. At a precise temperature, a phase transition occurs. The molecular structure reorganizes completely, and what was liquid is now solid. The change is total. The change is instantaneous at the threshold. And the change is irreversible in the sense that the new state is now the ground state, the default, the baseline from which the system operates. That is what is happening to your consciousness right now. You are approaching, or you are already standing at, the threshold of a phase transition. A frequency shift so complete that the reality on the other side of it will feel like a different world. Because it is a different world. Because your frequency determines which world you inhabit. And your frequency is shifting. Can you feel the edge? If this transmission is landing for you, if something in you is already nodding, go ahead and like this video and subscribe so we can keep going deeper together. Let me be precise about what I mean by that, because I am not asking a rhetorical question. I am asking you to actually check, right now in this moment, whether you can feel the specific sensation of standing at a threshold. It has a texture. It feels like a combination of things that don't usually go together. Anticipation and grief, excitement and loss, the sense of something ending and something beginning simultaneously in the same moment. It feels like the moment before a door opens, that split second when your hand is on the handle and you don't yet know what's on the other side. But you know that the moment you open it, something will be different. It feels like the held breath before the plunge. It feels like the last moment of one version of your life and the first moment of another, compressed into a single point of experience. If you recognize that feeling, if something in you is nodding, if something in you is saying yes, that is exactly what this has felt like, then you are not imagining it. You are standing at the gate, and the gate is open. Now let me tell you what is on both sides. On the side where you currently stand, the side you are about to leave, there is a version of reality that was built at your old frequency. It was not built wrong. It was built precisely right for the frequency you were operating at when you built it. The relationships, the patterns, the beliefs, the circumstances, all of it was the perfect resonant match for the consciousness that created it. And that is why it has felt increasingly like it doesn't fit. Not because it was ever wrong, because you have changed, because your frequency has shifted. And what was once a perfect match is now a mismatch. And the dissonance of that mismatch is what you have been feeling as disorientation, as restlessness, as the strange sense that your own life has become slightly foreign to you. That is not a malfunction. That is the gate appearing. On the other side, on the side you are moving toward, there is a version of reality that is the perfect resonant match for the frequency you are becoming. Not the frequency you are pretending to be. Not the frequency you think you should be. The frequency you actually are, at the level of your deepest structure. The version of reality that has been waiting in superposition for your frequency to match it so that it can collapse into your experience. And here is the thing about what's on the other side that most people don't understand, that most people can't see from where they're standing. It is not a harder version of what you already have. It is not an upgraded version of the same reality. It is a qualitatively different reality, different in kind, not just in degree. The way ice is not just colder water. It is a different state of matter entirely. On the other side of this threshold, reality bends differently. The things that felt immovable on this side of the gate, the fixed circumstances, the closed doors, the patterns that seemed to repeat no matter what you tried, those things do not exist in the same way on the other side. Not because you will have solved them through effort, but because your frequency will no longer resonate with them. They will simply stop appearing in your experience, the way a radio station disappears when you change the dial. Not gone from the universe, just no longer in range. On the other side of this gate, synchronicities accelerate. This is not mysticism. This is resonance. When your frequency shifts to match a higher order pattern, the events and people and opportunities that exist at that frequency begin to appear with what feels like impossible precision. The right person at the right moment, the right information exactly when you need it, the right door opening exactly as you approach it. Not because the universe has decided to reward you. Because resonance. Because you are now broadcasting at the frequency of those things, and they are responding. On the other side of this gate, your relationship with time changes. This is one of the most disorienting aspects of a frequency shift for people who have just crossed. The sense that time has become more elastic, more responsive, that things that used to take years of grinding effort now happen in weeks, that the gap between intention and manifestation has compressed. This is because time, as you experience it, is a function of frequency. Lower frequencies experience time as thick, resistant, slow. Every forward movement requires enormous effort against the grain of what is. Higher frequencies experience time as responsive, fluid, cooperative. The grain of what is moves with you rather than against you. This is what people mean when they say reality bends. Not that the laws of physics are suspended, but that the laws of resonance, which are the laws of physics applied to consciousness, begin to work visibly, dramatically, undeniably in your favor. Because you are now at the frequency where that is the natural state. The gate is open, and you are standing at its edge. But here is the question that every person faces at this threshold, and it is the question I want to spend some time with before we go further, because it is the question that determines whether you cross or whether you stand at the gate indefinitely, watching it from the approach side, never quite stepping through. The question is this: why is crossing the gate frightening? Because it isn't. Let me not pretend otherwise. Standing at a quantum threshold, standing at the edge of a genuine frequency shift, is one of the most disorienting, most destabilizing, most terrifying experiences a human consciousness can have. Not because what's on the other side is dangerous, but because the crossing itself requires something that every part of your current identity will resist with everything it has. It requires the dissolution of the self that got you here. This is the part that doesn't make it into the simplified versions of this conversation. The part that gets glossed over in favor of the exciting parts about synchronicities and reality bending. The actual mechanics of a frequency shift, a real one, not a conceptual one, involve the dismantling of the identity structure that was built at the old frequency. And that identity structure is not just a set of beliefs. It is the architecture of your self-concept. It is the story you tell about who you are, where you came from, what you're capable of, what you deserve, what is real. It is the lens through which you have been interpreting every experience of your life. And crossing the gate means that lens has to dissolve. Not gradually, not This is why the approach to the gate often feels like a kind of death. This is why people standing at genuine quantum thresholds often describe the experience as grief, as loss, as a mourning for something they can't quite name. What they are mourning is the version of themselves that will not cross. The identity that was built at the old frequency cannot survive the phase transition. It is not designed to. It is not supposed to. The caterpillar does not gradually become a butterfly. It dissolves into a kind of biological soup inside the chrysalis, a genuine dissolution of its previous form, before the new structure assembles itself from the raw material of what was. You are in the chrysalis right now. The dissolution is happening, and the part of you that is frightened, the part that is gripping the approach side of the gate, that is looking back at the familiar territory of who you were with something that feels like longing. That part is not wrong to be frightened. It is simply in the process of being released. And releasing is not the same as dying. It is the same as transforming. The caterpillar does not die. It becomes. But it cannot become without first dissolving. And here is the thing that makes this bearable, that makes it not just bearable, but extraordinary. The dissolution is not random. It is not chaos. It is the most precise, most structured, most intelligent process in the universe. The quantum field does not dissolve what is essential. It dissolves what was constructed at a frequency that no longer serves you. It dissolves the armor you built when you needed protection and no longer do. It dissolves the identity you constructed to survive circumstances that no longer exist. It dissolves the beliefs that were true at the old frequency and are no longer true at the new one. What remains after the dissolution, what is left when the chrysalis opens, is not less than what you were. It is what you actually are, freed from the overlays of what you had to be. The gate is not asking you to lose yourself. The gate is asking you to find yourself. The version of yourself that exists at the frequency you are becoming. And that version has always been there, in superposition, waiting for the moment when your frequency would match it so that it could collapse into reality. This is the crossing point. I want to pause here and ask you something directly. Has there been a moment in your own life when you knew, before you could explain it, before the evidence was fully in, that you had crossed a point of no return? A moment when everything shifted at once, when the old version of your life suddenly felt like a country you were leaving rather than a place you lived? Drop that moment in the comments. Not the story of it, just the feeling of it. What did it feel like to stand at that edge? Now, let me tell you about a moment in physics that I think is one of the most beautiful, most precise metaphors for what you are experiencing right now. It is called the critical point. In the study of phase transitions, the moments when matter changes state from liquid to gas, from solid to liquid, from one phase of reality to another. There is a specific condition called the critical point. The critical point is the exact threshold at which a phase transition becomes inevitable. It is the temperature, the pressure, the precise conditions at which the system cannot remain in its current state, at which the transition from one phase to another is no longer a possibility, but a certainty. At the critical point, something extraordinary happens to the system. It becomes what physicists call scale-free. Its properties, which at normal conditions exist at specific defined scales, suddenly appear at all scales simultaneously. The fluctuations that normally occur only at the microscopic level suddenly appear at the macroscopic level. The entire system becomes, for a moment, a kind of fractal, the same pattern appearing at every level of magnification. And then the transition occurs, and the new state crystallizes. You are at your critical point. The fluctuations you have been feeling at every level of your life, the small things and the large things both shifting, the microscopic and the macroscopic both in motion. That is the scale-free behavior of a system at its critical point. That is the signature of a consciousness standing at the threshold of a genuine phase transition. Not one level of your life changing, all levels, simultaneously, because that is what happens at the critical point. Because you cannot partially cross a threshold. You cross it completely, at all scales, all at once, or you don't cross it at all. And you are crossing it. I want to pause here and give you something concrete, something you can feel in your body, in your experience right now, that will confirm for you that what I am describing is not abstract, that it is precisely, exactly, literally what is happening in your life. Think about the last 6 months, or the last year, or however long this sense of being between things has been building. And notice, where have you felt the most resistance? Not external resistance, not the world pushing back against your plans. Internal resistance. The places where something in you has been gripping the old reality with everything it has, refusing to release, insisting that the old way is still the right way, even as every signal from your experience is telling you it is not. Those points of maximum internal resistance are not obstacles. They are the exact locations of the gate. They are the precise places where the frequency shift is trying to occur and the old identity structure is refusing to allow it. They are the threshold points, the specific doorways between who you were and who you are becoming. And the resistance you feel at them is not evidence that you should turn back. It is evidence that you are close. It is evidence that the gate is right there, right at the edge of that resistance. And if you can release the grip, not force your way through, but release the grip, The transition will occur naturally, because it is already occurring. You are already at the critical point. The transition is already inevitable. The only question is whether you will release into it or continue to grip the approach side of the gate, standing in the threshold, feeling the dissonance of being between two states. Too far from the old frequency to be comfortable there, not yet fully through to the new frequency, suspended in the chrysalis, in the dissolution, in the between. You don't have to stay there. The gate is open. Let me tell you about someone who stood at this threshold. I'll call her Mara. Mara had spent 15 years building something. Not just a career, a version of herself. A precise, carefully constructed version of herself that was competent and reliable, and known for specific things, and valued for specific contributions. She had built this version of herself in response to early experiences that told her the world was a place where you had to earn your right to exist, where visibility required performance, where love was conditional on usefulness. And she had built it brilliantly. The version of herself she constructed was genuinely impressive, capable, accomplished, recognized. And for a long time, it worked. For a long time, the frequency of that constructed self matched the reality she was living in, and the resonance was good. And then something shifted. It didn't happen all at once. It started as a small thing, a moment in the middle of a meeting where she looked around at the room and felt for just a second like a stranger in her own life, like she was watching herself perform from a slight distance, like the person doing the things she was doing was real and capable and effective, but was somehow not quite her, not the her underneath the construction, not the frequency she was actually running at, beneath the layers of what she had built. She dismissed it. She was busy. She had things to accomplish. She did not have time for existential uncertainty. But the feeling kept returning. And it kept returning with more insistence. And then the circumstances around her began to shift in ways that felt, from the outside, like disruption, a project that fell apart, a relationship that ended, a physical symptom that forced her to slow down when she had no intention of slowing down. And she interpreted all of these things as problems, as obstacles, as evidence that something was going wrong. She did not yet understand that they were the gate. She did not yet understand that the frequency she had been running at, the frequency of the constructed self, the performance self, the self that had to earn its right to exist, was shifting, that something in her deepest structure had reached the critical point, that the phase transition was already underway, that the things falling apart were not falling apart because the universe was against her, but because they were built at a frequency that was no longer hers. They were dissolving because she was dissolving. The chrysalis phase, the biological soup phase, the between phase, and the dissolution was not a malfunction. It was the mechanism. But she didn't know that yet. And so she did what most people do at the threshold. She gripped harder. She worked harder. She tried to reconstruct what was falling away. She tried to maintain the old frequency through sheer force of will, because the old frequency was familiar and the new frequency was unknown, and the unknown is terrifying when you don't understand that it is the gate. And then something happened that she later described as the moment everything changed. She was sitting alone, late at night, in the middle of what felt like the worst of the dissolution, when the old self was most thoroughly dismantled and the new self had not yet assembled. And she stopped fighting. Not because she decided to stop, because she ran out of the energy required to continue fighting. Because the grip finally released, not through choice, but through exhaustion. And in the moment the grip released, something extraordinary happened. The silence that followed was not empty. It was full. It was the fullest silence she had ever experienced, dense with something she couldn't name, charged with a kind of electric presence that felt both foreign and deeply, impossibly familiar. Like coming home to a place she had never been, like recognizing something she had never seen before. She sat in that silence for a long time. And when she finally moved, when she finally stood up and walked to the window and looked out at the night, she felt different. Not dramatically different. Not transformed in some visible, external way, but different in the way that ice is different from water, different in kind, different in state. The same material, reorganized at a fundamental level, into something that behaves completely differently. She had crossed the threshold, not through effort, through release, through the exhaustion of resistance and the surrender that follows, through the moment when the grip finally loosened and the gate could open. In the months that followed, she described her experience of reality as qualitatively changed. Not easier in the sense of no challenges, but different in the texture of the challenges. The things that had felt like walls now felt like doors. The things that had felt like losses now felt like releases. The synchronicities she began to experience, the precise, impossible to dismiss alignments of events and people and opportunities, felt like confirmation that she was now operating at a frequency that the universe could work with, that she was no longer pushing against the current, that she was in the current. Reality had bent, not because she had forced it to, because her frequency had shifted, and reality had reorganized around the new frequency, the way iron filings reorganize around a magnet when the magnetic field changes. The gate had been there the whole time. The dissolution had been the gate. The exhaustion had been the gate. The moment of release had been the crossing. And what she arrived at on the other side was not what she had expected. It was better than what she had expected, in ways she could not have imagined from the approach side, because you cannot see the other side of the gate from the approach side. You can only see it once you have crossed. Mara's story is not unique. It is the story of every consciousness that has ever stood at a genuine threshold. The details change. The specific form of the dissolution changes. The particular shape of the constructed self that must be released changes. But the structure is always the same. The approach, the critical point, the grip, the dissolution, the release, the crossing, the arrival. And you are in that structure right now. You are somewhere in that arc. And the question is not whether you will cross. The critical point has already been reached. The phase transition is already underway. The frequency shift is already in progress. The question is how long you will stand in the threshold, gripping the approach side, before you release into the crossing that is already happening. The gate is open. It has been open. It will not close. But it is asking you to release. Let me talk about what reality bending actually looks like. Because I think there is a version of this idea that has been distorted, that has been turned into something passive, something that requires no engagement from you, something that promises a kind of magical thinking where you simply believe hard enough and the universe delivers. That is not what I mean. That is not what quantum mechanics describes. And it is not what actually happens when your frequency shifts. Reality bending is not the universe doing things for you. Reality bending is the universe doing things with you, because you are now at the frequency where cooperation is possible. Here is the distinction, and it is a critical one. At lower frequencies, at the frequency of scarcity, of fear, of the belief that reality is fixed and you are subject to it, the relationship between consciousness and reality is adversarial. You push, reality resists. You plan, circumstances disrupt. You reach for what you want, and the gap between where you are and where you want to be feels vast and getting vaster. Not because the universe is against you, because the frequency of your reaching is the frequency of lack, the vibration of not having. And that frequency resonates with more not having. The act of wanting, from a state of scarcity, amplifies the scarcity. The gap widens because you are broadcasting the frequency of the gap. At higher frequencies, at the frequency of resonance, of coherence, of the state that exists on the other side of the gate, the relationship between consciousness and reality becomes cooperative. Not because you stop engaging with reality, but because the frequency of your engagement shifts from pushing against to moving with, from forcing to allowing, from the frequency of lack to the frequency of presence, the vibration of what already is, rather than the vibration of what is not yet. And here is the quantum mechanics of why that matters. In quantum field theory, the vacuum, the ground state of the universe, the state of lowest energy, is not empty. It is full. It is seething with what physicists call vacuum fluctuations, quantum events that are constantly occurring in the zero-point field, the baseline energy state of reality. These fluctuations are real. They have measurable effects. They are the constant creative activity of the quantum field, the universe's baseline mode of operation. And consciousness, at higher frequencies, becomes sensitive to these fluctuations in a way that lower frequency consciousness is not. Not because the fluctuations are louder at higher frequencies, they are constant, but because the signal-to-noise ratio changes. At lower frequencies, the noise of internal resistance, the constant mental chatter of fear and lack, and the effortful maintenance of the constructed self, drowns out the signal of the quantum field. At higher frequencies, when the internal noise quiets, when the resistance releases, when the grip loosens, when the dissolution completes, the signal becomes audible. The fluctuations of the field become perceptible. And what was previously invisible, the precise, perfectly timed opportunities and alignments and openings that were always there in the field, suddenly becomes visible. This is what synchronicity is. Not magic, not the universe playing favorites. The quantum field becoming perceptible because the internal noise has quieted enough to hear it. This is what intuition is at its highest function, not a mysterious sixth sense. The ability to detect the fluctuations of the quantum field, the subtle signals of what is about to crystallize into reality. Because the frequency of your consciousness has shifted to the range where those signals are detectable. This is what it means when reality bends. The laws of physics are not suspended. The laws of resonance, which are the laws of physics, begin to operate visibly in your experience because you are now at the frequency where they can. And the gateway to all of it is the threshold you are standing at right now. This transmission opens the gate, but the complete crossing from the moment your old frequency begins to dissolve through the 5 precise phases that carry you all the way to sealed coherence is mapped in full in the sealed timeline, a quantum guide to becoming untouchable by wrong frequencies. It contains the exact sequence that makes the crossing not just possible, but irreversible. You'll find it in the description below. I want to do something now that might feel different from what you were expecting. I want to guide you through a crossing, not a visualization in the sense of a relaxation exercise. A threshold crossing practice, a specific, structured engagement with the quantum mechanics of what is happening to you, that is designed to help you feel the gate, to locate yourself precisely in relation to it, and to take the specific action that the crossing requires. This is not about forcing anything. Frequency shifts cannot be forced. They can only be allowed. What this practice does is help you identify and release the specific points of grip, the specific places where your old identity structure is holding on, so that the crossing that is already in progress can complete. Find a position that is comfortable and alert, not lying down. The gate requires your full presence. Sitting, with your spine relatively upright, your feet on the floor if you can. Take 3 breaths that are slightly longer and slower than your normal breathing. Not dramatically so, just slightly. Enough to signal to your nervous system that something is different about this moment, that this is not ordinary time, that you are at a threshold. Now, I want you to bring to mind the version of yourself that you are leaving behind. Not with judgment, not with criticism or shame, with the precise, clear-eyed recognition of a traveler who is about to depart and is taking a final, honest look at the place they are leaving. What does that version of you believe about reality? What does it believe about what is possible for you? What does it believe about what you deserve, about what you are capable of, about what the world is and how it operates? Let those beliefs become visible, not as abstract ideas, as sensations in your body. Because beliefs are not just thoughts. They are frequencies. They are patterns of activation in your nervous system that have a specific texture, a specific weight, a specific location in your body. Where do you feel the old beliefs? Where do they live in you? In your chest, your throat, your belly, the space between your shoulder blades? Feel them. Don't try to change them yet. Just feel them. Let them be as present and as real as they are. Now notice, what are they holding? What are they protecting? What is the function of these beliefs? What did they do for you? What did they keep you safe from? What did they allow you to navigate that you could not have navigated without them? This is important. This is the part that most threshold practices skip. The old beliefs are not your enemy. They were your survival. They were the frequency you needed to be at to get through what you had to get through. They served you. They protected you. They were the right tool for the reality you were in when you built them. And now they are not. And releasing them is not a betrayal of the self that needed them. It is the completion of what that self was always moving toward. It is the graduation. Can you feel the difference between those two framings? Between releasing as loss and releasing as completion? Between the gate as a place where something is taken from you, and the gate as a place where you are finally allowed to put down what you have been carrying? Stay with that second framing. Let it become real in your body. Let the sensation of putting something down, of releasing the weight of the constructed self, the performing self, the self that had to earn its right to exist, let that sensation move through you. Now I want you to feel the gate itself, not as a metaphor, as an actual sensation. The threshold is not invisible. It has a quality of presence. It is the place where the air changes, where the texture of reality shifts from the dense, resistant quality of the old frequency to something lighter, more fluid, more electric. It is the place where you feel simultaneously the pull of what you are leaving and the pull of what you are moving toward. It is the place of maximum tension and maximum possibility simultaneously. Feel that tension. Don't try to resolve it. The tension is the gate. The tension is the threshold. The tension is the superposition, the moment when both states are simultaneously real before the collapse into one. And now, not through force, not through effort, not through willing yourself across, but through a single, deliberate, complete act of release. Let go of the approach side, not the beliefs themselves. You cannot force beliefs to change, but the grip on them, the insistence that they must be true, the requirement that reality must conform to the frequency of the old self. Release the grip, just the grip, just the holding, and notice what happens. In the space after the release, there is a moment of free fall. This is normal. This is the crossing. This is the moment between states, between the old frequency and the new one, between the approach side and the arrival side, between who you were and who you are becoming. It is disorienting. It is vast. It is the most alive you have ever felt, and also the most terrifying, and also, underneath both of those things, the most right. Let the free fall complete. Don't grab for the approach side. Don't reach for the arrival side before you are there. Just fall. Just cross. Just let the transition happen. And then, when the free fall settles, when the new ground begins to form beneath you, feel what is different. Not dramatically different, subtly different. The way the air feels different after a storm. The way silence feels different after a long noise. The way your own body feels different when a tension you had forgotten you were holding finally releases. That is the other side of the gate. That is where you are now. Welcome. Let me tell you what changes on this side. Not what might change, not what could change, what actually changes structurally in the experience of a consciousness that has crossed a genuine frequency threshold. The first thing that changes is the quality of your attention. On the approach side of the gate, attention is primarily backward-looking and forward-fearing, oriented toward the past. What happened? What went wrong? What needs to be defended against? Or toward a feared future? What might go wrong? What might be lost? What might fail? This is not a personal failing. This is the orientation of consciousness at lower frequencies, the survival mode orientation that is appropriate when you are operating at the frequency of threat. But on the other side of the gate, attention naturalizes into the present, not as a discipline, not as a practice you have to maintain through effort, as the default. Because the frequency of the present moment is the frequency of the new state. Because the new state is not built on the past or oriented toward a feared future. It is built on what is actually here, now, in this moment. And what is here, now, in this moment, at the new frequency, is extraordinarily rich. The second thing that changes is the relationship to uncertainty. On the approach side, uncertainty is threatening. It is the territory of potential loss, potential failure, potential harm. At lower frequencies, the unknown is dangerous, and the known, however uncomfortable, is at least predictable. On the other side of the gate, uncertainty becomes generative. Not because the risks disappear, but because the frequency of your engagement with uncertainty shifts from threat detection to possibility detection. The same unknown territory that felt dangerous from the approach side feels, from the arrival side, like the quantum field, full of potential states waiting to collapse into reality, full of possibilities that haven't yet crystallized, full of the creative energy of what hasn't yet been determined. This is not optimism. Optimism is a bias about outcomes. What I am describing is a shift in the fundamental frequency of engagement with reality. From the frequency of resistance to the frequency of resonance. And from resonance, uncertainty is not a threat. It is an invitation. The third thing that changes, and this is the one that most surprises people who have just crossed, is the experience of effort. On the approach side, effort is the primary mechanism of change. You push, you work, you force, you maintain. Everything requires energy because you are moving against the grain of your own frequency, trying to produce outcomes that don't match the state you're in, trying to force reality to conform to a vision that exists at a different frequency than the one you're broadcasting. On the other side of the gate, effort doesn't disappear, but it changes quality. It becomes what the Taoists called wu-wei, effortless effort, action that is in alignment with the natural flow of what is I. You still engage, you still act, you still choose and move and create. But the action comes from resonance rather than resistance, from alignment rather than force. And the results are disproportionate to the input, because you are now working with the grain of reality rather than against it. This is what people mean when they say things started to flow. This is the physics of flow, the state of a consciousness operating at a frequency that is in resonance with the quantum field, where the cooperation between intention and reality is natural and ongoing and self-reinforcing. The fourth thing that changes is what I want to spend the most time with, because it is the most fundamental and the most misunderstood. What changes on the other side of the gate is your relationship to your own identity. On the approach side, identity is something you have, a fixed set of characteristics, beliefs, roles, and stories that constitute who you are. It is something you protect, something you maintain, something you defend against threats. And this is appropriate at lower frequencies, where identity is the primary structure that organizes experience. But on the other side of the gate, identity becomes something you are, not a fixed structure, but a living frequency. Not a thing you have, but a thing you express. Not something that needs defending, because it is not something that can be threatened. This is the deepest freedom that exists on the other side of the threshold. Not freedom from circumstances. Circumstances will continue to arise. Challenges will continue to appear. But freedom from the tyranny of the constructed self. The exhausting, constant work of maintaining and defending an identity that was always, at some level, a performance. On the other side of the gate, you are not performing. You are being, and being, actual being, at the frequency of what you actually are, rather than what you constructed yourself to be, requires no maintenance. It requires no defense. It is self-sustaining, self-generating, self-reinforcing, because it is in resonance with the ground state of reality itself. This is what the mystics were pointing at when they talked about enlightenment. Not a supernatural state, a frequency state. The state of a consciousness that has crossed enough thresholds to be operating primarily from its actual frequency rather than from the constructed overlays. And it is not a final destination. There are always more gates, always more thresholds, always more crossings. But each crossing deepens the resonance. Each gate crossed brings the frequency of your consciousness closer to the frequency of the quantum field itself. And as that resonance deepens, reality bends more. Not because you are bending it, because you are it. You are not separate from the quantum field. You are an expression of the quantum field. And when your frequency aligns with that, when the constructed self dissolves enough to let the actual self be present, the field responds, reality responds, the universe responds, not as a separate entity granting your wishes, as the same substance recognizing itself. The gate is not a door between you and reality. The gate is the threshold between the version of you that believed it was separate from reality and the version of you that knows it is not. And you are crossing it right now. Let me talk about the specific signs that your quantum frequency is shifting, because I think it is important to be concrete about this, to give you actual, specific, recognizable markers of a frequency transition in progress, so that you can locate yourself in the arc with precision rather than vagueness. The first sign is what I call pattern disruption. The patterns that have defined your experience, the recurring situations, the habitual responses, the loops that have played out in your relationships and your work and your inner life, begin to break. Not because you forced them to break, because the frequency that was sustaining them has shifted. Patterns are resonant structures. They exist because the frequency of your consciousness is sustaining them. The way a note on a guitar string sustains because the string is vibrating at that frequency. When the frequency changes, the pattern cannot sustain. It dissolves. And the dissolution of long-standing patterns, even patterns that were painful, even patterns you wanted to be free of, can feel like loss, because what dissolves is familiar, and the familiar is not the same as the good. The familiar is simply known, and known is safe, even when it is not good. If you have been experiencing the dissolution of long-standing patterns, relationships that are ending, circumstances that are changing, roles that no longer fit, that is not evidence that something is going wrong. That is the first sign of a frequency shift. That is the gate appearing in the structure of your life. The second sign is heightened sensitivity. As the frequency shifts upward, the nervous system becomes more responsive, more sensitive to subtle signals, more aware of the quality of environments and people and situations, more affected by dissonance and more drawn to resonance. This can feel, in the early stages of a frequency shift, like overwhelm, like everything is too much, like the world has become louder and more intense and harder to navigate. This is because the old filtering system, the one calibrated to the old frequency, is no longer operative, and the new one has not yet fully calibrated. You are temporarily without your usual buffer against the world, and that is uncomfortable. But it is also the beginning of sensitivity as a gift rather than a burden, the beginning of the ability to detect the subtle signals of the quantum field, to feel the fluctuations of possibility, to navigate by resonance rather than by the old maps. The third sign is the acceleration of meaningful coincidence. Synchronicities increase. The right person appears at the right moment. The right information arrives exactly when you need it. The right door opens exactly as you approach it. And these coincidences have a quality that is different from ordinary coincidence. They feel charged, significant, like the universe is sending a signal. Because it is, because you are now at a frequency where the signals of the quantum field are perceptible, because the noise-to-signal ratio has shifted in your favor. The fourth sign is a change in what you are drawn to. The things that used to interest you, the entertainments, the conversations, the concerns, begin to feel flat without charge, without resonance. And new things begin to pull at your attention with an intensity that surprises you. This is not restlessness. This is the new frequency beginning to express itself, beginning to orient you toward the people, ideas, environments, and experiences that exist at the frequency you are moving into. Follow those pulls. They are not random. They are the frequency of the new state calling you forward. The fifth sign, and this is the most subtle and the most important, is a change in the quality of your inner silence. Most people, at lower frequencies, experience their inner life as noise. Constant mental chatter, constant evaluation, and planning and worrying and rehearsing. The inner life at lower frequencies is loud. But as the frequency shifts, the noise begins to quiet. Not because you are suppressing it, because the urgency that was generating it, the urgency of the survival mode self, the urgency of the constructed identity that needed constant maintenance, is beginning to release. And in the spaces where the noise was, there is something else. A quality of presence. A quality of aliveness that is not generated by thought, but underlies it. A frequency that is simply there, constant, beneath everything. The ground state of your own consciousness, finally becoming perceptible because the noise has quieted enough to hear it. That is your actual frequency. That is the self that was always there, beneath the construction. That is what you are crossing the gate to be. And if you can feel it, even faintly, even intermittently, even for a moment between thoughts, then you are already through. You are already on the other side. You are already at the frequency of what you are becoming. The crossing is not ahead of you. It is happening right now, in this moment. In the space between these words, I want to address something directly, because I know it is present for some of you who are listening to this. The question that arises when you hear all of this, when you feel the resonance of it, when you recognize your own experience in what is being described, but then something in you pulls back and says, "But what if I'm not one of the ones who crosses? What if this is not actually happening to me? What if I am just hoping, just wishing, just projecting meaning onto things that are random?" That question is real. That question deserves a real answer. Here is the answer. The question itself is the gate, not the answer to the question. The question. The moment when you stand at the threshold of something real and true and transformative, and your mind generates the question of whether it is real and true and transformative, that moment is the gate. That is the exact point where the old frequency is making its final argument. That is the constructed self, the skeptical self, the self that was built to protect you from disappointment by preemptively dismissing possibility, making its case for why you should stay on the approach side. And I am not asking you to dismiss that voice. I am not asking you to override your discernment with blind belief. I am asking you to notice something. The voice that asks whether this is real is not the voice of your highest intelligence. It is the voice of your fear. And fear, at this threshold, is not information about whether the gate is real. It is information about how close you are to crossing it. The closer you are to the gate, the louder the voice that says, "This is not real. This is not for you." you are not one of the ones who crosses, because that voice is the old frequency making its final stand. Because the old frequency knows, at some level, in the way that all systems know when they are about to transition, that the crossing is close. And it is doing what all systems do at the critical point, generating maximum resistance at the threshold. That resistance is not evidence that the gate is not real. It is evidence that you are standing right in front of it. And the answer to the question, to the doubt, to the fear, to the voice that says this is not for you, is not an argument. It is a step. The answer is to take one step. Not through the gate. You don't have to commit to the whole crossing in this moment. Just one step closer. Just the willingness to stand at the threshold and look at what is actually there, rather than at what the fear is projecting onto it. One step, and then another, and then the gate, and then the other side. There is something I want to give you before we close this transmission. Something you can carry with you, not as a concept, but as a practice, a way of engaging with your daily experience that is calibrated to the frequency shift that is already in progress, a way of living at the threshold that accelerates the crossing rather than resisting it. It is this. Begin treating everything that happens to you as frequency information. Not as good or bad, not as success or failure, not as what you wanted or what you didn't want, as frequency information. As the quantum field's precise, accurate, real-time report on the frequency you are currently broadcasting, and therefore on where you are in the crossing. When something resonates, when you encounter a person, an idea, an opportunity, an environment that makes you feel more alive, more clear, more present, more yourself. That is the new frequency calling. That is the arrival side of the gate showing you its face. Move toward it. Not because it is guaranteed to produce a specific outcome, because it is the direction of the crossing. When something creates dissonance, when something in your experience feels effortful in the old way, resistant in the old way, draining in the old way, that is the old frequency reporting itself, not as something to be judged or escaped, as information, as the quantum field showing you precisely where the old structure is still active, where the grip is still present, where the dissolution is still in progress. And when you encounter the threshold moments, the moments of maximum tension, the moments of free fall, the moments when you are between states and neither side feels solid, treat those as the gate itself, not as emergencies, as crossings, as the precise, structured, intelligent process of a frequency shift in progress. This is the practice. This is the way of living that the other side of the gate makes possible, treating reality as responsive, as informative, as the living feedback system of a universe that is in constant, precise communication with your frequency. not as a fixed stage on which you perform, as a quantum field that is always in every moment, showing you exactly where you are and exactly what is available to you from that frequency. And as you begin to live this way, as you begin to read your experience as frequency information rather than as the fixed verdict of a fixed reality, something extraordinary begins to happen. The feedback loop accelerates. The crossing completes more quickly. The new frequency stabilizes more fully. And the reality that reorganizes around the new frequency becomes more and more undeniably, more and more visibly, more and more precisely what you always knew was possible but could not quite reach from the old frequency. Reality bends, not at your will in the sense of force or control, at your frequency in the sense of resonance and cooperation, because the universe does not respond to what you want. It responds to what you are. And what you are, at the frequency you are becoming, is extraordinary. The gate is open. It has always been open. It will always be open. The only variable is whether you are at the frequency that allows you to see it, to approach it, to stand at its threshold, to release the grip, and to cross. And you are at that frequency right now. That is why you are here. That is why this transmission found you. That is why something in you recognized what you were hearing before your mind had a chance to evaluate it. Because recognition is a frequency phenomenon. You recognize what you are in resonance with. And you are in resonance with this. You are in resonance with the other side of the gate, which means you have already crossed. In some essential sense, in the frequency sense, in the quantum sense, the collapse has already occurred. The superposition has already resolved. The new state has already crystallized. What remains is simply the lived experience catching up to the quantum reality. The three-dimensional, time-based, embodied experience of a consciousness that has already, at the level of frequency, made the transition. And that catching up, that process by which the lived experience aligns with the quantum reality of the new frequency, is not long. It is not difficult. It is not something you have to force or work at or maintain through effort. It is the natural, inevitable, physics-grounded process of a system settling into its new state. The way water settles into ice once the temperature drops below the threshold. The way iron filings settle into alignment once the magnetic field is established. The way reality settles into the shape of your frequency once your frequency has stabilized. You are stabilizing now, right now, in this moment, in the space between these words. Feel it. This is what the other side of the gate feels like. Not dramatic, not overwhelming, not the fireworks and fanfare that the approach side imagined. Quieter than that, cleaner than that, more certain than that. The way clarity feels. Not loud, but unmistakable. The way coming home feels, not exciting, but right. The way your own name sounds when someone who knows you says it. Recognized, landed, real. This is your frequency. This is the state you have been moving toward. This is the reality that has been waiting in superposition for you to arrive at the frequency that would collapse it into your experience. And you are here. Welcome to the other side of the gate. Now, let me tell you what to do with this. Because crossing a threshold is not the end of the journey. It is the beginning of a new one. The other side of the gate is not a destination. It is a new ground state from which new gates will appear, new thresholds will emerge, new crossings will become available. The journey of consciousness is not a journey toward a final destination. It is a journey through an infinite series of thresholds, each one opening onto a reality that was invisible from the previous state, each one requiring the same fundamental act of release that brought you through this one. But here is what changes with each crossing. The act of release becomes less frightening. Not because the stakes get lower, they get higher, if anything, but because you have a reference point now. You have the memory in your body, in your nervous system, in the lived experience of your consciousness, of what it feels like to release the grip and cross. You have the experiential knowledge that what is on the other side is not loss, but arrival. That the dissolution is not death, but transformation. That the free fall is not falling, but crossing. And that reference point, that embodied knowledge of what it means to cross a threshold, is the most valuable thing you can carry forward from this transmission. Not the concepts, not the framework, the felt sense of the crossing, the memory of what release feels like, the recognition of the gate when it appears again, because it will appear again. New gates will appear, new thresholds will emerge, new crossings will become available, and each time they do, you will face the same fundamental choice: grip or release, approach or cross, stay in the superposition or collapse into the new state. And each time you choose to release or each time you choose to cross, the frequency stabilizes a little higher, the resonance deepens a little more, the reality bends a little more visibly. The cooperation between your consciousness and the quantum field becomes a little more undeniable. This is the path. Not a path toward a fixed destination. A path of continuous crossing. A path of gates and thresholds and phase transitions and frequency shifts, each one opening onto a reality that is more alive, more resonant, more genuinely itself than the one before. And you are on that path. You have been on that path. The fact that you found this transmission, the fact that something in you recognized what was being described before your mind had a chance to evaluate it, is evidence that you have been on this path for longer than you know. that the frequency shift that is happening right now is not the first one, that you have crossed thresholds before, even if you didn't have the language for what was happening, that you are, at some level, an experienced traveler at the gate, and that experience, that accumulated crossing, that deepening resonance, that growing familiarity with the sensation of the threshold, is what has brought you to this gate, this specific gate, this specific frequency shift, this specific moment of standing at the edge of a reality that is qualitatively different from the one you have been living in. You are ready. You have always been ready. The gate does not open until you are ready. And the gate is open. Take a breath. Feel the ground beneath you, the new ground, the other side, the arrival. Feel the quality of the air on this side of the threshold. Feel the difference in your own body, the subtle but unmistakable difference in the texture of your own experience between the approach side and the arrival side. This is real. This is not imagination. This is the quantum mechanics of consciousness playing out in your lived experience, in real time, in this moment. Reality is bending for you, not because you are special in the sense of being separate from others, but because you are at the frequency where bending is possible, where cooperation is natural, where the universe's constant, creative, generous response to consciousness becomes visible in your experience. You are at that frequency now. You have crossed the gate. And what is available to you on this side, what becomes possible, what becomes visible, what becomes real, is everything you always knew was there, just on the other side of the threshold you were standing at. The gate was always open. You are the one who has changed. And in changing, in crossing, you have changed everything. This is the quantum frequency shift. This is what it looks like from the inside. This is what it feels like when reality begins to bend. Not because the laws of physics have changed, but because you have. Because your frequency has. Because the version of you that is standing here now, on this side of the gate, is broadcasting at a frequency that the universe can work with in ways that the previous version could not. And the universe is working with you. Right now, in this moment, in the synchronicities that will begin to appear in the days ahead, in the doors that will open that were closed before, in the people who will arrive who carry the frequency of the new reality, in the opportunities that will crystallize from the quantum field of possibility into the solid reality of your lived experience. Watch for them, not with the grasping attention of the approach side, with the open, receptive, resonant attention of the arrival side, not looking for proof that the crossing happened, feeling the evidence of it in the quality of your experience, moment by moment, day by day. Reality bends at your frequency. Reality bends because you have crossed. Reality bends because you are now at the state where bending is the natural behavior of the field in relation to your consciousness. If you find yourself returning to a moment of stillness, a quiet evening, a pause between things, this transmission rewards a second listening from the other side of the gate. What you hear will be different, because you will be different. And if someone in your life is standing at their own threshold right now, unsure whether what they are feeling is real, consider sending this to them. Sharing it is not a small thing. It creates a bridge, a resonant connection between two people at the threshold. And that shared recognition strengthens both fields. The crossing is easier when someone else has named the gate. The gate is behind you now. The new reality is ahead. And you are exactly where you are supposed to be, standing at the beginning of what comes next, at the threshold of a life that matches your actual frequency, in the first moments of the version of yourself that you have been crossing toward. Welcome to the other side. The gate was always open. You are the one who crossed. And now everything is different. And if the idea that your consciousness has a frequency, that reality is not fixed but responsive, that the field is always in communication with you, if that thread is still pulling at you, there is more to follow. The question of how the quantum field actually reads your state, how coherence forms in a nervous system that has been running on survival for years, and what it means to stabilize at a new frequency rather than just visit it. That is where the next transmission goes. The gate has opened. The field is listening.